All right, folks, we're back. Still working on the Studeamino here. What is the plan? I'm going to get a little ahead of myself. I'm going to say I want to make it a roller, but I don't know. I feel this might take a little longer than I want. So we're going to narrow it down a little bit. We're not going to do anything with the back right now, which is going to be pretty simple. It's going to involve just making a set of blocks, and then we can use those U-bolts that we messed around with, bolt it down. That thing would be good. I think I'm going to take like a 2x3, but a notch an inch out, so we'll probably lower it maybe 2 inches just to A, fix our problem with our blocks being wrong, and B, like we'll be able to correct our pinion angle and stuff. We won't know, so essentially when I get to that, we're going to notch out a set of blocks, we're going to mount it, we'll do the U-bolts, we can bolt it in, that way it can roll. But first things first, we got to deal with the front. So I have a funny feeling I'm going to have to just remake this mount, this part, which not a big deal because this looks about correct. I'm probably going to try to scooch it as much ahead as I can. Like, if this is dead center of the wheel, I might move it a hair bit ahead. Just me. When things level out, blah, blah, blah. I always say, if you look at the way the suspension design and the way the upper control arm is, as it travels, it wants to go back a little bit. So I kind of usually always hate when I see a wheel sitting too far back. I don't know why. I don't mind it a little bit forward. Not too far forward, but a little bit forward seems okay to me. But okay, first things first, because this, I feel I'm right. I gotta have to move it a little bit. I think the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna chop all this stuff off the front. I'm gonna pretty much, because you can see where this comes down, we should be able to, because this is gonna end up way up into this area. So we'll end up cutting this cross member like we're gonna have to. I'm gonna temporarily make some mount into here so that it holds the whole front end together. The steering box on these S10s is always the issue you have trying to fit it somewhere. But when you look at the chassis over here, you can see how high it is. You can see how far this stuff all has to go up. And in our place and stuff away is our lower control arm is going to be like in that vicinity somewhere. So we're gonna have to figure some way to run a bolt through the works to be able to use that upper mount up there. All right, so like I said, I think first thing I'm gonna do is we'll come into here. We're just gonna do the old slice-a-roo. I'm gonna start it just flush with the steering box, and we're gonna try to, the best we can, mirror it over to the other side. That gets rid of all of this stuff. And then, for I don't plan to run a bumper, but if a fella wanted a bumper, then you can kind of make your brackets off of there and stuff like that. I think the front of these cars looks so awesome without, or truck, looks so awesome without it that I just want to try to run it without it. That's my plan. So first things first, let's get rid of these, and then no matter what, it's like my habit is always usually just cutting the front of that stuff off. And then I want to revisit this, make sure that I feel this is straight. And man, I guess what I'm going to do also, I think, is come into here. We're just going to carve out this top, because somehow we're going to have to fit this hat into this. This is not a perfect way to marry these two because of the way this frame design is, but we'll try to beef everything up the best we can and see where we get. I'm going to definitely have to cut this back some more. Well, I don't want to. I'm going to try to do it as small amount as I can, but it's going to get interesting. The big thing here is like that wheel looks right, but we got to get it closer sitting up to know that this is where I want that. Anyways, instead of me just jabbering away here, see, this thing holds the body right there. That holds the body. This holds the fender. I'm just wondering if it makes more sense that I take this bracket off. Don't want to, but I think I'm going to take this bracket off for now, because we already chopped it in the middle, so it doesn't matter. And if this is really just a fender bracket, I mean, it's holding a body box, but this is going to be supporting the car, or the body, so I'm not too concerned about that. I can always put it back in, technically. Well, I'm not going to be chopping anywhere back this far, so yeah, I don't know. I don't have a real definite plan. I kind of go off the cuff, and I always figure things out as I go. Usually have a loose plan, and that usually always changes. So, okay, game plan for now. Front horn's off. I'm going to take these things off. The body should be hanging out, no problem for now, because it's going to be supported up for there. That way, with that off, we can start lowering this down some more and get a better feel for where this stuff's all going to be. All right, well, you can see my clip is supposed to be like way down there. Anyways, let's see if I can lower this. Unfortunately, I kind of have to drop the back to do this properly, but we'll get a little eyeball of what's going on here. Just try to see what's happening. All right, well, instantly we can tell this has got to go back. Yeah, maybe that pushed it ahead, I guess. Oh, we're hitting everywhere. Well, you can see that is, you must have, when it went down, this got pushed forward. Not so much here, it's, we're gonna have to move this front cross member, and then we gotta see where things are, because we're not straight anymore. This, somehow my one side got the shove here. So I'm trying to figure this out. Well, I know what we gotta do, but this one seems it moved a little bit forward yet. But you can see we're gonna have to cut this thing like, man, like way back here. I'm trying to get this set up where the top of this frame is going to sit to the top of here. I don't want to drop it excessively. Like you could step notch this like the factory does, but usually I always find that these, well, I don't know about these frames, but most frames, if you do the top to top, you got a good height. the thing to always remember is it's easier to lower a car than it is to get it too low and try to raise it. So you can always do drop spindles, coils, there's lots you can do to bring it down, but if you get it too low right out of the box, you're pretty hooped. It's almost impossible to like raise it higher. Anyways, we're gonna need to work in the front. Well, first I'm gonna trim some of this away, because we're gonna start getting to the point where we're gonna start slicing this and trying to merge these two together, but we got to get this a little closer. It's not perfectly squared up, but I want to get it close so we can get our angles right. And then up in the front here, I still got to do a slice and dice up here to make room for this to come up. I think when everything's said and done, this frame rail is going to be somewhere into this vicinity, to which I'm hoping by the time we get it squared up, it's behind this front. It's going to have to be. I just got to figure out how to do that. All right, we are getting there. Ended up lowering the car a little bit. Truck, car, I don't know what to call it. It has a bit of an angle, I don't know what it is, but the angle is the same as my clip right now. So we got that right. There is like half a degree out from following the chassis, so I'm okay with that. This is a little messier than I like, but this is gonna end up getting all plated up, so I'm not too worried. What I like to do is kind of try to squish everything in, weld as much as I can inside, and then everything gets plated over. That's what I tend to do. This went a little excessive when it was all said and done, but I'll be able to cut this plate, match up the bottom plate, they'll kind of blend, and then we'll make gussets here, 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 like everywhere. Nothing has been, everything at this point has just been eyeballed. I haven't measured anything anywhere, so we don't know if we're straight this way, you know, all the ways. The front, we're getting close. This side actually fits just about in there. I had to get the wheel back a little more than I like, but it's okay. We need all the room we can get because this clip still needs to go back a little bit more. So I don't know if there was damage or the fronts are a little bit different or what's going on, but then again, we haven't measured. For all I know, this thing's got to go back a little bit. I did have to trim aggressively around the steering box. There. Put this down. So you can see this was pretty aggressive, and it's the bottom is where I'm having the problem. I'm not worried about anything of here because none of this is supporting the steering box. It's just where the mounts are inside, you can see. So we'll probably end up plating this over, and it'll be plenty strong. The holes for the bumper are there, but I guess if a guy wanted, he could plate off of there to put the bumper on, but this side, it sort of fits. So to me, I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on yet, but I think we'll figure it out once I get this front clip squared. Everything at this point has been eyeballed, but I don't know if it's straight this way, if it has to slide over a little bit, if it's got to go back. I don't know if the wheels are square. I don't have the rear axle mounted, so we can't go off of there, but we're going to find some common points on the chassis somewhere, hopefully. And we're going to go there and cross-reference to random things. That's the plan. Just to see if we're square. We're going to have to start, you know, inside. See these body mounts? Well, you know, I would hope they're the same from side to side, so I'm going to go with those crisscross. I'm going to do the old X to make sure it's good that way. And then front to back. And I don't know what I'm going to use on the back. Like we have another body mount right about there. So I might come back, pull that, do it to the lower ball joint or do something, because those should be all centered, at least in my eyes. Can't really go off the hub. I mean, you can try, but if you turn your wheel, then that measurement gets weird. So I usually try to use permanent points. Yeah, it's a whole lot of making things up as you go, but you really want to try as hard as you can to get that front straight. You probably have a little bit of give. You can be, I don't know, I like to be within a 1/16 of an inch. I mean, I'm going to guess you can maybe correct a 1/4 inch, but I don't want to say that. I like to be within a 1/16 of an inch everywhere, all my measurements. So that's a very easy, you have tons of adjustability with your upper control arm, so you can kind of fix up some stuff, but I'd rather make it as straight as I can, and before I have to use my suspension to fix something. All right, next step, a whole lot of measuring. Gonna do that. Ryder's out, so he's giving her beans on his truck here, trying to weld up his floors. Got him using a bunch of self-tapping screws to suck down the floor everywhere. Okay, let's get this thing done. We're close. So once I can get this thing squared up, I'm just going to take the welder. I am just going to boog weld a whole lot of places everywhere just to make sure it stays in place, and then we just start gusset, like putting plating on everything. But like I say, first I want to make sure my wheel depth's the same side to side, and I don't like to use the sheet metal to measure off of. I mean, I like eyeballing that it's centered in the wheel well, but usually I have the wheel on. I don't have the wheel on here. It just doesn't work out for me this round, but we'll get her figured out. Well, that took a really long time. Had to keep finessing around, but we got it. It's within a 16th. Crisscross, back, forward, every which way. The clip is about a half a degree different from the chassis, but I am not going to worry about that. So that's sitting in place. I think everything's looking pretty good. We kind of welded up everything we can get into all the little pieces that we can get. So like the top is welded, the sides. Next step is to do some slits, and we're going to beat these pieces. Like I'm going to do a little cut into here up to this part, and then I want to kind of fold this in so that we can do some gusset plates that will well, basically blend in. The top worked pretty good. We're gonna do the side. We're gonna do a platel on the bottom, and well, we're pretty much there. That'll be the way I see it anyways. We kind of weld everything we can inside, and then we just add a whole bunch of gusset plates, lots of speed holes, do all that. So it looks kind of similar, but you know, again, I'm gonna weld everything I can underneath here. It's got a big gap, but I'm gonna try to weld that first, and then I'm gonna put a plate over top of it. Just the more a feller can weld, the better. So again, here, do a slit. Here, I'm gonna do a slit. I'm gonna beat that down just so this thing blends and transitions nice. And just looks like this clip has always been here. It's kind of the game plan. We'll kind of see how we won up in the front. I think everything ended up scooting just a little bit back, but I guess I'll try to stuff this back on and see how much better it fits. I don't know for sure. If I've won, I feel like it kind of, everything did a little something, but I don't think we're quite there just because of where that fender is. I don't know why, but it just feels like something didn't jive quite right in the front here. I mean, it's super close, but, and the top's not really the problem. It's actually on the bottom. See how that lip is way there? Mind you, this one's the same way. I don't know why it just seems to fit better on this side, but I don't know. Maybe I won't worry right now, because we're just gonna have to make it fit no matter what. So, all right, next step is gonna go dig around in all my steel bins. We cut up all of our loose sheets, so we got a little tub with some excess, but I think we're gonna actually have to cut some plate to do the side gusset. Might have some small pieces that I can do the bottom, but I don't know. I just had that big pile. I went through, cut up everything I could out of there. So basically now we just have a random bin with just some smaller pieces that, you know, if I'm doing some smaller brackets and stuff. But I don't think anything's big enough. I like to do too much. So this might be a job for the iron worker for the most part. Usually I like to use just some strapping and then I cut it. But I don't think I have any good strapping. Like that's not thick enough. I want to go thicker. I want to go at least 3/16 on the sides. So I think that's what I have on the table. So I think we're going to I'm going to try to figure out my gussets. And we're going to cardboard CAD a few pieces. And then I'm going to figure out how to draw them up, and hopefully I do them right, and then boop, they're going to go on. The bottom will be easy because it's just flat. So that'll just be a square chunk, a couple holes that we can do some rosette welds, I don't know, like some extra weld in it to hold everything together, and this clip will be in shortly. Then we'll have to address up into the front. Now, I'll have to do some way to hold that together. This is not bad, but it's just temporary. And in actuality, the clip was originally held in via, it had a bolt hole right there. So we're pretty dang close that I can probably make a wedged mount there and we can kind of shoehorn it down and be done. You ready for the day or what? All right. Well, that took a long time. Took longer to square it up than it did to weld everything up, but so we got this is all welded. Not the prettiest, but I mean it'll work. We have our gusset plate underneath. Didn't feel like trying to jam the camera in here, but you can see our boxing plates over on both sides. Same with over on this side. You see me do, like we put the boxing plate on, I basically tried to fill all my gaps with weld, if that made sense. I stuck in a piece, I welded it all up. We've welded this all up. Now I have to somehow, this thing needs to bolt down, so we're gonna have to like punch a hole through the bottom here somewhere so we can run a bolt to hold this body mount together. But the clip is on. Pretty happy about that. I don't know yet if this front dealio fits or what I gotta do yet. I don't think it's going to just yet, because I think all of this needs a little bit of finessing. I'm hoping I can keep the sway bar on, because it's like it really wants to get down there, but still have to do some trimming, like pretty that up a little better, but we had to make some room inside of there. But anyways, I'm gonna let it down. I'm gonna start trying to finesse. Yeah, I need it down a little more so I can try to fit the grill in, see if I can get that to work. I don't know that anything changed, but I like to think that. So close. So close. That one is almost there. We got some damage, but that's just about there. What are we hitting? Huh. Well, not the stuff I thought I would. Oh. You know what? they're about there. It's just this thing folded over on me. And should try to straighten it out. Straighten that out and see if it wants to play ball. Okay. So that's got to go there, that's got to go there. That is close. I think it's just tight. The clip is sitting pretty hard on the chassis. Oh. Never mind, it's right here. Darn it. Don't have enough hands. Alright. What is hanging up here? It's so close. Not there. Not there. This one piece doesn't want to play nice. See this thing? This thing keeps getting finangled there. Alright. Try it again. Survey says gotta keep that. This thing close. Well, that one's just about there. This side, just something not quite right yet. It's that one part. Man, are we close? Like the steering box is there, but it's just, it's the sway bar. We may have to lose the sway bar. Well, we are almost there, but unfortunately, I got to trim more away, which is going to start affecting our sway bar mounts. So I think, unfortunately, we're going to have to lose the sway bar because I need to trim the bottom of this frame a little bit more. That way, you know, we're almost there. I'm like half a bolt hole out. And kind of the same on the other side. The steering box is going to tuck pretty nice. You can see we got to do a little more trimming to this piece of the frame down here. But I mean, it's almost like we have to zinger right through the bolt there. So we're gonna have to, like, this is where the steering box mounts, so that's not a problem. But we're probably gonna have to come in like another, whatever, 3/4, 7/8, even just a full inch, just to get this thing to tuck in. Because you can see, well, you can't see here, but I can just start seeing it. The bolt hole is just past the opening here. So it's close. I figured it would fit. It's just, yeah, it's close. Oh man, At least the steering box is probably going to line up with that steering column. If I keep that one. I don't know if I really care that that stock steering column is in there or not. Well, maybe. If I put a GM column, it's going to look awful in here, honestly. Like, you got to imagine a GM column is nothing. It's, yeah, I think I'm going to keep this somehow. But, well, if you had the Studebaker bits there, I think it would look kind of neat. Man, everything's just so far away. It's crazy. We'll have to clean this thing out soon because I think I'm going to want to make some floor patches. Somehow we're going to do swing and pedals in here too. That's about the easiest way to do stuff. All right. I'm going to pull the sway bar off. I want to at least get this front piece to fit properly. I feel that would be a good go. We'll almost be there. Okay, do some cutting. Well, that worked out pretty good. I just needed that little bit more room to squeak by. I know it's not quite there, but it is there. It's very minimal. I just need a little bit of finessing here and there, a little shove and a push, but yeah. That, we got some room to spare, not a lot. So we're gonna have to work on these upper mounts yet, but gotta work on those mounts, I don't think I'm gonna keep the clip on at this point because it just makes it very convenient to get the motor in and out. And then we'll figure out what we're doing with this rad support yet. Still have the other brace there. It's kind of unfortunate that didn't work out, but that's okay. We need a sway bar on Rolly's hot rod, so now we got. So that's convenient. Over here, I don't know if I'm going to repurpose any of this. I don't think so. Now, these are the bits we all cut out. Those are those cab mounts, these mounts here. So I'm just going to make something off of here to there. I think that'll just be easier. I don't have a matching pair of wheels, so I can't really put them on, but maybe I'll... And they're kind of big. I guess I can try to... Well, wouldn't quite work. Yeah, I'll put one on. We'll see. Not much I can do. It is what it is now. Though it looks good. All right. Let's put a wheel on. We'll see. Yeah, because the other one doesn't hold air. Unless I can find a pair of wheels. I don't know. Nah, we got to do the back yet, so we'll wait and see how we make this whole thing fit. I know I have some drop spindles if it comes down to it. And I think I have some cut coils, but we're going to we'll wait for the surprise for the next round. I don't think I'm gonna get to that thing today. And this took a little longer than I thought. But that's kind of how it always goes. So, well, Pablo's waiting to go in. He's had enough of this day. And he's always wants to go inside, so. But I did get the clip in, so I'm happy about that. So I think for next round, that's the plan. It's going to be a roller next round. Going to make those blocks. We're going to get that diff in. I think we're going to make these little bits that we have to make onto here. So we're going to have to do that front support. I have to do this rear support. I'm not going to mount the front because I think I'm going to leave that for when we do our motor. I'm not sure what I'm doing for a motor just yet, but I got to take a whole bunch of this stuff out of here anyways. We may as well get that all out of the way, get stuff cleaned out and whatnot. And then we can figure out our motor situation, what we're going to put in there. I'm kind of leaning to LS just because I want to be able to winter this thing. And I'm pretty sure Bill would really enjoy that the day he takes that thing on. If you don't know, Bill's from Baba Boom. And basically, I want to just drive this thing. He's got a lot of cool ideas as far as like to modify it and do stuff. I don't really want to. I have plenty of other things that I want to modify or build. And I just came off of building one big custom, so I'm not feeling doing all the stuff on here. So I think this thing's cool. I just want to drive it for a year or so. I think it'd just be cool. I know Bill wanted first dibs back. He's the guy I bought it from. He wanted first dibs in case I did sell it, but I would actually, because I know he loves this thing, but he's got ideas with, I don't know, like changing like the quarters and like doing like Cadillac quarters or I don't know what. He had a lot of ideas. I don't remember what they all were. I just think it looks awesome, as weird as it is. So I know a lot of people want to see it in paint. That's not going to happen for me, but it'll probably happen with Bill. But I think if I can get it all running, driving, I get to drive it, I get to enjoy it. And then I think I'll pass it on to him again if he still wants it or not. And he'll probably take it the full burn to full custom, I think. Anyways, I'm running on. But I think that is where we are going to leave this one. As always, folks, I want to thank you all for watching. And we will catch you on the next one. Later.